Welcome to the podcast, everybody. And today's a special one. It's the first of our Founders series where me and Chris invite business owners to come talk on the podcast and share with us their journey as an entrepreneur. Share some insight, their expertise in their respective industry, but more importantly, hopefully they inspire you in your own business endeavors. And if you're into marketing, social media, you're going to love today because we're talking to Raphael Malenfant. He's the founder of Betula Marketing Agency, and he shares with us what to do when you hit a plateau on social media, how much your company should be spending in marketing, and probably my favorite part of the conversation was when he talked about that maybe sometimes the best form of content is when you get out of your comfort zone and kind of expose your insecurities. So I'll stop right there. I'll let you listen. Thank you so much for tuning in. And ladies and gentlemen, Raphael Malenfant. Welcome everybody to today's edition of Coffee Break. And today is a special edition. Today is December 5th, 2023. My name is Zach Graveson. And with me is not only the man with the financial plan, Christian Fournier. Today we have the founder of Betula Marketing Agency, the owner of music production house Broil, and the host of the Broil podcast, Raphael Malenfant. Raph, welcome to Coffee Break.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Hi, Zach.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's an honor. I've been following you guys for a little while now since you started, so it's good.
Well, appreciate the support. We follow you as well. Obviously, we always see the content. And I just named off some of the few things that you have going on. You're extremely busy. So first of all, thank you for taking the time to jump on and be our first guest. But one thing I thought would be interesting to start is we always see the entrepreneurs once the business is already thriving, and that's where you start hearing about them. But I'd like to kind of rewind and see what type of person were you before becoming an entrepreneur? Who was Raph in high school, and what led to you kind of becoming your own boss?
Yeah, that'll be a kind of long answer, but I think that will bring context as well to the conversation. So, I have many seasons. I've gone through many seasons of my life. That's how I like to call it. I started really young, playing hockey as like a semi-pro, whatever you call it. But I got drafted for some off-season elite team when I was 8 or something. So I started playing hockey pretty, all in, like all year. So I was playing locally when I was a kid, and then got drafted, and then started playing in the summers as well. So as soon as the school was over, and I missed school as well quite a bit. Maybe that's why I became an entrepreneur in the end. But anyway, but yeah, my parents were really motivated as much as I did, and we started going around and playing for teams in the summer and back home in the winter when I was going to school. So that was my first, for me, real kind of professional experience. So I started playing hockey really, I was all in. I wanted to be a hockey player, and it was all good times. I kind of feel like I've been a pro athlete in a way when I was a kid, where the magic, everything was new, and I didn't know about anything else. It was just the magic of being a hockey player and dressing good outside of the arena, and we did all sorts of things. I posted a story today because I went and give that's just a side note, but I went and give some clothes every year. I try to do a cleanup in the closet, and so I went and give some clothes, and then the bag, there was an old bag in the closet as well. I was like, I'm just gonna use that because I'm not using that anymore anyway. So I'll just take that, fill it up with the clothes I don't want anymore, and then I'll go give it away. And then when I came to the place where I drop it off, I saw a little badge on it that said 2004 Europe tournament. So that's the guy, and I don't know. I kept it. I ripped it off, and I put the clothes away, and so I have that little thing. So went to Europe for a tournament at some point. I went to the States as well. So that's kind of my first season of life, I would call. in high school, I started having like bad habits. I would say started smoking at some point, and that's where kind of the downhill started for me. Started smoking weed as well, and cigarettes, and then from there, like the hockey kind of went away from my life slowly. Yeah, I still managed to. I did like the pre. Camp for Océanique de Rimouski, the junior major. So that was a great experience. But then that's exactly the moment where I decided to stop playing hockey. Got back home and told my dad, I'm like, I hate everybody there. I don't want to be there anymore. I feel like, and they wanted me to quit snowboarding, and they wanted me to like have good results in high school and all that. And I was like, I started playing guitar like when I was a kid as well, and that kind of came pretty strong at the end of my teenage. So that was kind of intriguing to me, and then the hockey thing was kind of not magic anymore. So I was like, I need something else. So went that route, and so that was kind of the end of the first season of my life, and then. Did kind of nothing for a few years. Had a hard time finishing high school, and then my mom told me, if you finish your French, I'll pay a plane ticket for you to go to the West Coast, because I wanted to go West Coast really bad. I wanted to snowboard back there. I wanted to like really have fun and just explore the world, and so did that. Like just barely did it. I did it like really flush, and went to Whistler. So that was a great experience. So lived there for a year and a half, something like that. Came back when I was 18, 19. And then the thing, I was missing rock and roll. I was missing the music and my guitar amp and all that back in Whistler. So I had fun, but like worked there and then came back and then went straight to Quebec City, where I live now. Because I knew there was like a music scene here. I was going to shows when I was younger in Quebec City, and I thought it was a really good scene, a really good vibe. So started playing in the little band here. Met some people from back home as well, and then the music kind of became more and more in my life. And I was without a career at that point. I was doing tires at Toyota. So was yeah. And then and you'll see how this flips. I have a weird life. Anyway, I think I have a weird past, but like you'll see. So did that, and then my mom. Thanks to my mom. My mom's a badass. She's
I love it.
so cool. She was like, "What are you doing with your life? You're not a mechanic." And I was like, my hands were hurting. Like I couldn't play guitar anymore because my hands were fucked from the garage thing. And anyway, so my mom was like, "Hey, I saw that course that." Cégep, like 1 year thing where you can go to that private college and you do a year and you can learn sound engineering, so like music production and live sound engineering. So thanks, mom. Went there, met a guy called Jacques Momini. He gave me the right pill at the right moment, and that's kind of the moment where I stopped taking like harder drugs, because the everything in between from my teenage has been pretty hardcore, like on all types of stuff. And then the beginning of my music kind of career before I went to school was pretty hardcore as well, like late nights or 3 days in one or whatever, so so started that, and Jacques just changed my life in a way. He helped me find that passion that was music recording. So I realized that I was having more fun tweaking the knobs on my amp than playing the guitar. So that kind of was the first revelation of it's kind of my third season at some point, because the second one is kind of after hockey, before a sound engineer. There's like a very whatever, just trying to find something in the world and the traveling and all that. And then, found that, went all in, started recording bands, got a job I never finished at college, by the way. I got a job at Solotech, one of the big companies that does AV and touring and all that. So learn all the background, all the backstage stuff. Did that for a few years, and then that started picking up, and I built Broil in 2012, I think. So it's been like, yeah, more than 10 years now. I think
You've been at it for a long time then, Raph. 2012.
yeah, 20, man, I think it's even before that. I think it's something like 2011 or something. So it's been like almost 12 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, So that's where it all started, and rented a little basement trashy thing that became my first studio. Started recording friends and my own band, because I had a band back then. And I met a guy at Solotech that was a bass player in a band called Sandvice, and he was doing the recording for their first EP, for their first release, and he was kind of struggling with the recording part of it, and he was not like adding as much value as he would want to. So he asked me, "Can you come in and maybe help?" I was like, "Why don't you guys just come to the studio and see what's up?" So it was kind of the beginning of a love story there. We did the first EP, we did the first album. The first single of the first album, which was the second release, kind of picked up a little bit. Jason Rockman at Chaume FM in Montreal got the single and had it spin like every day on Chaume. And 2 years later, we did a Festival d'été with Megadeth opening on the Plains of Abraham. We did Every Montreal. We did showcases in Sweden. We went around. We did a few gigs. It was good fun, honestly. So that was kind of the beginning of a little success there. And then that EP that put me on the map kind of went and all the bands started calling, like all the stoner bands in Quebec City were like, "Hey, we got to record and do a song with Raph and do the next album with Raph." And then Broil started picking up like this. So did that for a few years. I'm still doing albums now, but like I was a heavy pot smoker back then. Still went off the heavy stuff, but like I was still like a chronic. I was smoking weed like all day, all night. Like, but just with the music thing, I was learning all the new tools, and I was really immersed in the process, and I really liked it. And I wouldn't change anything. I mean, So learned a lot. The good stuff, the bad stuff. Did that for a few years, and then Sandvice referred me to another band that was already rolling, and they hired me to do live sound. We did albums together, and then we did. We got nominated for a bunch of stuff over the years. We did 3 albums. We went all over Europe together. The band is called Bodactan. They're Irish traditional punk rock band. Super cool. Check him out if you like that kind of stuff. It's kind of the flogging Molly of the Quebec scene. Okay. So
sorry, what year are we in right now at the moment of when we're touring and all that?
20 I would say I'd started touring with Bodactan probably around 2015 ish, and then did 3 years. So I stopped touring in 2018. I had a bicycle accident, a mountain bike accident while touring in Europe. Fucked my right foot pretty bad. Got surgery back there, and that kind of was the click that kind of changed. I was like, maybe I gotta change things, and so I stopped smoking weed. I kind of flipped my life, bought my first house close to Chris's house right now. My first house was right across the street, and then that's where entrepreneurship kind of became a thing, because I was like, okay, people hire me now. I have like kind of a brand. I can do stuff, and I hire a few people here and there. But I was like, there's something missing in my life. I want bigger projects. I want things to work for me, and not only me having to work every day for a pay. So that kind of was the switch. So
at this point, were you self-employed doing this, or was this still with Solo? Okay, so you were self-employed, so you had seen a bit the results of just using your network, having people, having customers, a few employees. So
exactly. So I was a freelancer, like you call it, and I did that since I left Solotech in 11, like right after school. Did Solotech for a year and a half, 2 years, and then left Solotech and then started my own thing. So Broil was the studio, and then I started touring with bands. Worked as a freelance as well everywhere in Quebec City. Did the Capitale de Quebec for like 6-7 years part-time, managing sound, head of sound, whatever you call it. I did a bunch of stuff. I learned a lot back there. The people were very nice, and it's been a great school for me, Capitale. So yeah, learned a bunch. And then touring with Podactan, and then did a few tours in Quebec as well, like Mario Pelcha, like Paul Darèche, and some classic. And
I have to ask real quick, what is your favorite tour story that you can share with us without going, you don't have to share names or whatnot, but what's something that you said, man, you know what? I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I lived it. This was something that's going to mark me in my life.
There are many good moments, but like I think the worst is the story of the broken foot back in.
I have to ask, did you have insurance when they had to operate you there? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, the bill, because I didn't pay for it, but I saw the bill before, and it was in the 50K something euros.
I believe it. It's insane. So that's what I was asking, because I've heard horror stories. People go out traveling, they didn't protect themselves. Bam, 50K, remortgage the house, whatnot. So that's good.
It was so super happy. I was with I don't remember the company, but like they paid, and then since I had my first house as well, I had a good coverage on my mortgage that kind of helped me. I had like a really good, like, it was like 150% of the payment, if I remember right. So
they paid.
Yeah, so I had like, let's say the house was like $1,000 a month, and they were giving me like 1.5. So that was good for a short period of time, because I couldn't even drive. That was my right foot. So
You're stuck at home. You're done.
Yeah. So the insurance thing was a really good move. I didn't know before because I thought it was a little expensive, but like in the end, it was the best move.
That's good.
You hate paying for it, but you're so happy once you actually have to use it.
Oh, definitely. And then the funniest story about that is that like things get worse. Yeah. Like I broke my foot like in July. So spent the rest of the summer there. I toured with the band with crutches.
But you broken?
Oh yeah. I did. I missed 2 or 3 shows, and that's it. And I got the surgery, got out of there, got back in the truck,
back to the grind.
Oh yeah, back to the truck. And I was carrying like the biggest backpack with so much stuff in there. And my girlfriend was supposed to come and reach me after the tour, because we had like a week of vacation in Switzerland that was planned. I was like, "There's no way I'm not doing that." So she came. We let the tour finished, and I did the whole vacation thing with crouches. Yeah, exactly. It was a good fitness training thing.
I can imagine.
Yeah. The upper body was pretty good. The right leg wasn't so good though. So did that, and so pretty much like the end of my 3rd season. I was talking about my life season, but like the end of my 3rd season was when I realized I wanted something more than freelance. I wanted to hire people. Maybe I didn't know, like, it was all new. I had no clue about finance, HR, ops, whatever. I did my own marketing for Broil for a few years. And the first idea in 2019, when we did the first incorporation, I don't know how you say it in English, but it was the first business. The main idea was to do project management for events. So festivals and venues that needed like technical direction, that needed to like make it happen on the stage. We were going to be the guys in town, and I had a big vision about it, and I wanted to give it a try. So went on and did the little there was a grand thing in close to like Beauport that they were giving like, I think it was 5K for a website, and I subscribed to that. And then the people from the office that were managing the money there, they told me that I needed somebody to help me with the marketing, because the plan was okay. One of my friends helped me with the finance things. I did the more operational aspects of it and in the business plan, but then the marketing was pretty weak according to them. So I was like, okay. So I did the network thing. Hey, do you know a guy? Do you know a girl? And then met Steph is now my partner in Betula, and that's where I met her from a reference, and we sat together, and I was like, I need a hand with the marketing plan. Can you help me? So we did that real quick. Had the thing approved, and then a year later, because we did that like the beginning of 2019, and then the summer arrived. So when the summer arrived, like if you're in the event industry, like all the festival starts, so then work on it. So I think we started working on that before Christmas 2019, and then finished and had everything approved in the beginning of 2020. So if everybody remembers, 2020 was COVID in March, so everything got canceled. We didn't get the money. The business plan wasn't working because the event industry was down. Everything went to shit. so I was like, all right, so what do we do? And while we were building the marketing plan for the event company, me and Steph told me like, hey, you have like good marketing reflexes. Like you don't have the words, but you've been doing your stuff for a long time, and you know how to talk to a specific audience, and you do a few videos and stuff. So she was like, hey, that's not bad. So we were joking. I was like, you're really good, and the vibe is awesome. So why don't we eventually have a marketing agency maybe when the event thing has picked up and it's more like rolling. So that day came a month later.
A month later.
Like 2020, like March 2020, the event industry was down. So I was like, hey, Steph. So she was working for marketing in a festival. So at a festival. So she was kind of herself? She was kind of freelance, I think, for the festival. So she kind of lost her job as well, and the event thing wasn't working. So everybody, we're all at home with cell phones and laptop, wondering what are we going to do? Money? Yeah, what are we going to do? So we started selling social media to people that we know. So it was, my girlfriend's. The business she was working for, and then the restaurant where her boyfriend was working at, and then it started picking up from one project to another, and then now 3 years later I have a marketing agency, and it's 90% of the business. It's amazing. So
that's insane.
Yeah. So the fourth season is kind of still going. Yeah. There we go.
Raph, let me ask you what's your specialty in your market? I mean, you guys have a marketing firm. There's so many marketing businesses. What would you say is your bread and butter? Where do you specialize in that your clients like, man, we deal with these guys because of this?
Good question. Like, it's kind of a classic question. It's always good. And we thought about it quite a bit. At first, we were going to be just a marketing agency, wanted to do whatever campaigns. And then when the event industry got back from COVID and the show started again and all that, I was like, maybe we could take, because the phone started ringing for me as a event technical director or whatever. So I was like, there's some business to be taken care of. So I was like, maybe we can do something. So the brand positioning was like, we'll be the marketing agency with event management in-house. So we now have one full-time guy plus me that we do like project management for festivals, really the technical aspects of sound, lighting, stage, backline, video walls, like all that. So we manage the projects and we hire all the other people that we need. We rent the stuff with the client that want to amplify their event in a different way. So that's one of the things that I think is really different from other agencies that we do. We do event management in-house. So that's it's kind of
So when you reach out to customers, is it specifically people who are in need of an event and marketing around it, or like what's your typical client look like? Who comes up to you for your services?
It's really funny because like we didn't know at first, but like what happened was like some of our marketing clients started having some needs in the event planning stuff, and then the opposite way as well. So some of our events client were like, hey, you guys do marketing, maybe we need the video, we need social media, we need stuff. So I was like, yeah. So like it's pretty much coming from both sides. But like I don't we don't want to go really niche in one industry. It's a decision that we made at some point, because we could be like the marketers in the event industry or something.
Right.
But like we have clients, we work with amazing people in that industry, and that's amazing. But like I really want to keep the vibe in the team where if there's a project that feels good, and that the people in that business or that organization is a good fit with our team, and we feel like we can really help and that they need us. I mean, we're not gonna say no because of the industry or whatever. We're just gonna be like, let's see how we can help and let's have fun. So we have clients like we have accountants, we have music festival on the other side, car industry. We go from we have like we do B2B quite a bit as well. Like we have surveying company that they do like construction surveying that is really nice. We go around, we try stuff, we know pretty soon if we can help or not, whatever the industry, whatever the company. But like just meeting the people and talking with them, there's always like a spark somewhere that sometimes you're like, hey, like there's something going on there. I think we can help, and I think you guys feel it as well. And usually it's both ways. It's not just about the services itself, themselves, but more about like the energy between the two teams that are going to work together.
So now you're 3 years in for.
Yep.
Okay. One thing that I've noticed a lot with me and Chris, every week we talk about obviously the vision, and it seems that every week, especially when you look a year ago, how clear the vision is of where we're heading versus where it was a year ago. So I'm kind of curious, if you looked back, not even 3 years ago, just in beginning of 2023, at the start of this year, how has your vision for the marketing agency, or even Broil as a whole, how has all that changed? Has it shifted, or is it the exact same as it was? How's it evolved just in this year?
It's funny about like the vision thing, because like the more you learn about something, the more your perspective about that thing evolves. And I really feel like my vision was to build like a major global agency. Like I wanted to have like offices in Singapore, in London, in LA.
I love it.
That's kind of still what I have in mind. Like it just the pieces are clearer and clearer. And then, when I started, I was like, in 5 years, I'm going to be in Singapore. I was like, okay, yeah. But like, now I know I got to take a chill pill. But, but still, there's a part of me that like, there's always, let me rephrase that. There's a difference between goals and vision for me anyway. So for me, like a vision is more emotional. It's more something that I want to achieve. That, of course, there's like a target and it can be a goal, but like the vision for me is to help people evolve in the way that they do marketing. And that's kind of my purpose in life. It's kind of my purpose in life to help people evolve, because like I realized that in music I was doing the same thing. I was like, the projects where I was having the most fun and that the people were helped the best were the projects where there was something more than just me pushing a button. There was like something in the way, the workflow. I was bringing them value, they were bringing me value, and then there was that whole collaboration going on. And like it's the same in music and marketing. It's exactly the same. I mean, we're creating something together that is bigger than everybody in the group. It's just like the project that is driving us. And I feel like this is part of my vision. I want to help people evolve, and I want to help them change the way they do things if they want to change. There's a big accent to be made there. Because you can change somebody that doesn't want to. So yeah, that's my vision of the thing. So we want to be as big as possible, but things evolve, and we try and manage how things evolve around us, and Yeah, it's amazing. Business is like unlimited, so it's so cool. I mean, we change, the people change around us, the industry,
Mm-hmm.
AI, and all that, and then you meet new people, and your perspectives change about things, and it's a big mess, but it's so much fun.
We're
Yeah,
constantly evolving, just like you said. And
yeah.
I'm curious to know, look, we manage money. We talk about money all the time. I want to know from the perspective of a marketing guy, how much should a business invest into their marketing?
Okay, there are stats about that. There's a link that I really like that maybe we can I can send you guys, and you can
Added it.
it's the BDC, or
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
the, how do you call it in English?
Already the Magic Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah. The BDs. Yeah.
BDC. So they have a really good article about that. So basically, if you're B2B, you're gonna aim at 2 to 5% of your top line revenue.
Top line.
Top
Okay.
line. So if you're making like 1 million, so you're gonna look at 5% of that million.
Okay.
For a B2C company, it's gonna be more in the 5 to 10% of your top line revenue.
Wow.
So
It's a lot of money.
yeah, well,
But at another side, you get it back because you get more business, I'm guessing.
when the strategy is good, you get it back.
When it's done right.
Yeah, when it's done right, and if you want to make it right, you got to try stuff, and sometimes you try 9 things to find the one that really works, and then this thing is gonna make up for the 9 ones that didn't convert or didn't ROI or whatever.
Right.
So it like being curious, taking risks is I think something that the marketing is risky. I would say that, but like the more and more we go with it, I think that we can we can predict better results with data and all the tools that we have now. So it's less of a gamble than it was, I think, back in the Mad Men era. Like if you guys have watched that,
Great show. Great show, by the way.
Amazing.
Yeah, great show.
So Madison Avenue was based on gut feeling, and they were placing ads somewhere, and they were hoping for people to see it and to convert into sales. Now we have like all the digital stuff going on. We can cookie the shit out of everybody, and then it's something else. But there's still gut feeling in there involved that you need to really listen to your art. I mean, of course, there are guidelines for budgets and stuff, but like if there are two, maybe I would add on that. Like there are two aspects of marketing from my perspective. And I think many would say that as well. You have the brand aspect and you have the sales aspect. And so the brand awareness, the brand building is the foundation to an organization. So if you don't have a brand that is strong, well, of course, your sales are not going to convert as well. There's a if, there's a but, there's a if, there's a everything, every word you can put, because it's not rocket science, it's marketing. But like still, if you have a strong brand, your sales efforts are gonna convert better. That's for sure. If you only do sales and that people don't know about you, that's where they're gonna be like, who are you? Why am I gonna buy from you? Like, I don't know you. Unless they know somebody who used your product and that have good reference, now they know you, and that's brand. So sales alone, I mean, you guys probably go on Instagram and scroll and you see an ad every 3 posts or something. How many brands look good but you don't know the name, and you're like, I'm not gonna buy that, I'm gonna go for the Nike that I know, something that I know is good. I did a little video lately where I talked about when I was a kid playing hockey. I was selling chocolate bars door to door.
Okay.
And my conversion ratio was pretty good. And I was 8 years old selling crappy chocolate door to door. So do you guys think I was a good salesman? Probably not. Not sure the chocolate was that good and the product was amazing. The thing that was making my sales so good was the fact that people knew me, because I was walking around the neighborhood where people knew who I was, because it's a small town. So they were like, hey, we want to help. So more than like probably 2 out of the 3 were buying chocolate, and it was not because the product was good or because I was a good salesman. It's because they knew me. So like, if you want to get known, you need a brand. And if you want a brand, you need to be out there and be loud. So that's my kind of take on it. Yeah.
I like it, Raph. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, hope that helps. Yeah.
No,
Started with a budget, but like ended up with a marketing strategy.
I might have to review our budget there, Chris.
Yeah, I think we're underpaying the.
Everybody's under. Like,
I can imagine.
Yeah, like many. The thing that I really like to keep in mind is like depending on your ambition and depending on your industry, there are some tweaks there. I mean, the general guidelines of the budget I told you about the 2-5 or 5-10% is it's a good starting point. But like, I mean, if like I know big businesses, some from our clients who like some of the biggest businesses I know, that are B2B are not putting 2-5% of their gross top line revenue. I mean, they're putting as less as possible because the business has been there forever. They have a lot of referrals. They're in the area. They're like, everybody knows them. They so many projects, and like there's something else going on. But like when like, okay, like if you don't do branding, you can have success. But can you imagine what it would be if you had a good brand as well? That's what I like to say. I mean, it's not that you have a good brand, but like if you're having a good success without a brand, the result will be a lot better if you had a brand as well. So
I want to ask you something, Raph, and it's we meet a lot of business owners from all stages of their business, or people that might want to start their business. Do you have any not middle ground, but type of tiered products in the sense like, look, someone needs what you do, but let's say they can't afford you, okay? Is there anything, you have a book you can pass them, a course you can give them? Would you guys at Betula be able to streamline something for like, look, this is a startup. They need to get their bases covered until they can hire you guys for your premium service, you know? Is that something you guys talk about, or can you talk to me about your premium offering or your offerings there in the business?
Yeah. So we like I'm gonna be like full transparency here. Yeah,
I love it.
We don't take clients under 15K a year. So that's the gate of entry. And I mean 15K is not much. I mean if you're doing,
we're talking about the math there about the top line.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Well, and so that's our gate of entry. After that, the other thing that qualifies a good client for us is the awareness of a good marketing. If somebody doesn't value the work that we do or the work that we do for them, because like we're doing stuff for our clients, we're not doing it. We're doing it with them and we're doing it for them, but it's their business that we're putting out there. It's not ours. So, I mean, like if they're not into it and they're just like, yeah, well, they told me I had to hire you. It's not, I'm hiring you. It's a check and then do it. I was like, that, like there's, if they don't value what we do, it's kind of a red flag for us at first. So I tried to like, so there's that. And the other thing that we learned over the years is like you need a good strategy and you need a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're gonna do whatever, and that's where the budgets usually go higher, the results go lower, the impact is very low, the emotional commitment of the whole team working on the same project, there's no plan, there's going to be something missing, they don't know why they're doing stuff, there's no purpose behind the action. So people, like, I've heard many stories like people putting like 10K a month in social media and advertising, but then there's no strategy behind it, so they end up not knowing why they do the stuff. They end up not achieving goals because they didn't set goals. So they don't even know why they're doing it. So it's like, well, maybe it's converting, maybe it's not. They don't have the tools to measure it, and it's a different thing. But like, they don't know who they talk to, so they try to talk to everybody, and then they end up talking to nobody. Politicians are really good at that. No, it's a big challenge for a politician to try to have like a whole country like you. I mean, you're gonna end up, you try to talk to everybody. Well, how do you talk to everybody? I mean, the story story I like to tell about that, and we talk. It's something that I say with clients a lot. But like, if you go to Mexico and you travel there for a week or whatever, and then you come back and you tell that story of your traveling, of your trip, to your grandmother or your best friend, there's a good chance that you're not going to tell the story the exact same way to both people. So we call them personas, avatars in marketing. So it's super important that you know the general aspects of the people you want to talk to, so you can use the right tone and the right words and the right strategy to really put the message in a little box that's going to fit their vibe and their needs and all that. So that's the key there. If you want a good marketing strategy, learn who you're talking to and how to talk to them, and then results are going to come.
I love that. And one thing that I want to ask you, because, and thank you for being transparent, but I'll be transparent as well. One thing that we're struggling with right now, marketing wise, is how do you quantify brand awareness? Because I've been trying to think of ways that we could see which efforts in our marketing are leading to more brand awareness, and how do we quantify? Do we do number of followers, accounts engaged, or whatever? So I'm kind of curious to hear your version of it, of how do you, because sales are sales. We close, money comes in, great. Brand awareness is something I think is extremely important, especially for a service like us, where you can get it everywhere. There's
literally everywhere.
Banks or different independent advisors that do it. So brand, I think, is big for us. But how would you quantify that, or how do you keep track of your progress, I'll say, in terms of brand awareness itself?
Okay, my answer is you don't.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't, but you do. But you have to read between the lines. Okay, unpack
that for me.
I'm curious now.
Okay, so like you said, sales are sales. The money's coming in. You can see how much, whatever. Ads, like advertising, like the sales aspects of marketing, it's easier to quantify. So you can really put a number on your ROI or your dollar spend per whatever. There are all tons of metrics. I'm not going to go there, but like there's a lot of metrics that you can measure. The brand aspect for me is really like, okay, let's say you build a bigger audience. So you're at 1,000 followers right now, and then in 6 months you're at 2,000 followers. And then you're like, hey, we're making progress. We have doubled our follower in this amount of time, and I guess that's good for us. All right, so that's a good thing. But like, what else is there to read there? Who is following you? So who are these people? So I see that quite often with startups. So in the beginning, they're picking up followers like really fast because in their network, there's a lot of people that know them, and they're following the business because they know them. So it's a good thing. It's an organic networking thing that's going on. So the bigger your network, the more people are gonna follow you at first, but then you reach a plateau where nobody outside of your network is hearing from you. So if you doubled your followers in the next few months, and then you just see a bunch of people that you know or friends of friends that are in there, it's not that it's a bad thing, but like, you're not really building a bigger audience, you're building a bigger network kind of. So that's one thing I try to read between the lines. The same thing goes with comments. I mean, like, okay, let's try it this year, but like, when's your birthday?
November 22nd.
Oh, so yeah, so happy birthday, a little late. So I guess if you do a post on FG group that is Zach's birthday, this is gonna get a lot of traction because people know you. You missed it. Well, it's probably gonna get a lot of traction, but like so the meter in Facebook or Meta or whatever the platform is gonna go crazy because everybody's like, that's Zach's birthday, happy birthday, Zach, and then they go crazy. That's awesome for the stats, but like, what's the business result? Like, happy birthday, Zach. I mean, I'm super glad it's your birthday, but what do you do with that? So
numbers could also just be numbers sometimes. So
they are.
What you mean by read between the lines? Because there's what are they saying?
Exactly, because the worst thing for me is doing content for the results. Content has to have a purpose. Of course, you have to measure on the results that the algorithm is giving you back, and that the people are saying, and how many people comment, and how many people like it, and what's the reach, and all that. These are numbers that are good to keep an eye on. But if you're only optimizing your content based on those metrics, you're going to fall in a trap at some point, because it's not because your audience is growing for a reason that it's the right reason for your business to keep growing. So maybe you're building a big audience of 0 potential clients.
Yeah.
What does that serve you? I mean, probably nothing. Having a few hundred followers of really engaged people, and people that really like your content and that will be potentially clients for you guys, is a lot more valuable. But if you look at the stats, you're going to be like, hey, we're not growing. But maybe there's something to read between the lines there. And that's what I mean. It's really important to not get too crazy with the scale of numbers and stuff. Of course, there are platforms that are easier to scale. TikTok is a wild one for the last few years. It's been kind of crazy. Instagram and Facebook are harder to build right now. I mean, the without ads, it's harder, and it's all right. I mean, there's the ratio between creation and the consumer and the audience is like more people create, so the ratio is getting closer. It's probably not 1-to-1, but like there's more people creating, so like the audience is the same for more people creating, so of course everybody's gonna have a smaller piece of the pie. So when you get to do TikTok or LinkedIn right now is kind of on fire, but the past 2-3 years has been a really good brand awareness in the business B2B world, really good. And then TikTok has been just crazy for all sorts of reasons, but like the algorithm is really pushing content that people will stay on for X amount of time, and the algorithm is really more about discovery than followers. So it's a different game, but like so be careful with the stats. I know for finance people, you guys like to prove
like
things.
Numbers,
and that's a good thing. I mean, that's why we hire you guys. But with marketing, there's nuances to be really aware of, and that one really good example is my personal favorite. I kind of went all in and did more content the past few months,
and we've been seeing you every day. It's amazing, man.
I'm doing 1 to 3 reels a day plus stories and static posts on I'm doing TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn every day. So 7 days a week. It's
I want your opinion on something, Raph, because I don't know if you guys have heard of him here, but he's exploding in the fitness industry. This guy his name is Sam Sulek, SAMSULEK. And just at the beginning of the year, I think he had 1.8K followers. And then there's 2 million people following him now.
Yep.
And what he does, he just posts a raw video of him every day. You see him drive to the gym. You see him work out. You see him post.
You see him flex.
He's out of breath. But it's crazy that, I think things are evolving too, because I find maybe some people are trying to hop on too many trends and they're not being themselves enough. And this guy goes, I'm going to do me, and it exploded. So I don't know if you have any comments on that or what your thoughts are.
I mean, there's some serendipity magic going on sometimes. I mean, in the music industry, we always talk about the timing. I mean, an artist can come in a year too early or a year too late, and then the same song is not it will or not explode in the market. And I think there's a part of this as well.
Like Morgan Wallen in country.
Yeah. And I mean, Morgan Wallen isn't the best country artist ever. He's just in the right spot, the right moment. He's good.
The right songs,
the right words. That's it, and it's working. It's just crazy. He's everywhere. So yeah, I think there's a lot of timing. So, and okay, there's a triangle that I really love in when I do content, and that's something that really helped me be at peace with my content and not worry as much about the results. One of there are 3. How do you say that in English? Like 3 a triangle has three points.
Right.
Yeah, 3 points. So your 3 points. So one, there's no top or bottom. They're just 3 points. You have to find the right balance between the three, and that's key for me. There's 1 point that is you. There's one that is your audience, and the other one is the purpose. And for me, like if I can find like a good balance of I like it, people seem to like it, because sometimes they seem to like it and they don't really, but like the other people thing is like the audience is the audience, and I don't know, I care about it, but not as much as other people would say. But like anyway, and the purpose, what is your content about, and what is that doing for anybody else? I mean, so Samsung, I don't know if, I mean, he's doing something in the fitness industry. It's serving his ego, probably. He's probably helping people. So there's a purpose behind it, because he's on the biggest gear ever. I don't know what he's taking, but like he's on stuff, that's for sure. And like he's talking about how he does that. He's going outside of the lanes. He's kind of like not doing the proper exercises and stuff. He's kind of all over the place about that, and that's kind of good. That's his brand. I mean, he built that. So like for me, like I'm just trying to really be like, am I good with that? Is the audience liking it, and what's the purpose behind it? And sometimes the key is trying to remove yourself from some of your content, because sometimes it's going to be good for the people that you're trying to help, and there's going to be a really strong purpose in that content, but you're going to be a little or a lot insecure about it. And
what do you mean? Sorry, can you explain a bit removing yourself from the content? I just want to make sure I understand that well.
Sometimes like the best pieces of content are the ones that you were the most insecure about. You were like, I don't like it, I'm not sure I want to go there, and then you put it out there and it blows up. And it's like, I've had a few viral thing going on, and it's usually where I was the less confident about myself. It was ego coming in. So it's really on a personal thing. I'm not talking about the brand that we work with, but like there's still something that I tried to really keep my clients really aware of, is you're doing content for somebody else. You're not doing it for yourself. And the people you're talking to are not always you. So it's good for a start that you talk to people that are like you. I mean, it's a really good strategy to start in business. I think like if you try to serve and help people that are like you, it's going to be easier, because they're kind of like you know them, that's it. But like at some point, if you want to help people that are different from you, you have to not put yourself in the audience's shoes and be really like, who am I talking to, and what do they want to see? And can I be at peace with that, even if my ego is not liking it, because what is liking anyway? So if the purpose is strong and it's helping your audience and you don't like it, like, why not? But like if you do that full time and you're never happy with what you put out, then at some point you're gonna burn. Like the motivation is not gonna be there. So you really have to find a balance between like what's your purpose and what's the purpose of the project, what do you like and what the audience like. And then once you find a good balance, sometimes some piece of content are a little more that way, sometimes a little more that way. But like if you stay in between all that, I feel like that's where I'm at peace with my content at some point. So there you go.
You're dropping tons of good nuggets. I'm time stamping all of this. Back to it.
Awesome.
There's one thing. So social media is so accessible. So every entrepreneur, it's pretty much their first thing they do before even thinking about what they're gonna sell. Almost they already have a page. So and you see all these gurus. We see it in finance. I'm sure you see it in marketing agencies.
Oh yeah.
So I'd be curious to hear two things from you. One, something that's very overrated in marketing, or maybe a trend you're seeing out there that for you makes no sense. Something that's overrated, and then something that's very underrated, and that might be something you touched on today. But I'm curious to see, with everything, all the noise that there is about social media advertising, online marketing, what would be something that's overrated and something that you truly believe is underrated for that field?
Old school marketing, like the old, like whatever, get in the street with a sign and yell at people. This is so underrated. It works. I mean,
what about a billboard? 'Cause I have my bones to pick with old school marketing. I don't get it.
It's underrated and overrated at the same time. I mean, honestly, it's super underrated if you know how to use it, and it's overrated because for the same amount of money, you can reach like 10 times that amount of people online. Mm-hmm. So, okay. But if you're capped online and then you start using the billboards and the TV and the radio, there we go. But if you're doing billboards and that people see it and they Google you and they don't find you, you got a problem. So if your SEO isn't right, if your social media isn't right, if you're not doing a proper video integration in the social media, if you're not doing digital advertising in the context of your industry the right way, I wouldn't go all in on the billboard. But is that a good idea? Maybe you're going to have some results out there, but like people are still going to Google you and they're going to be like, oh, the billboard was nice, but then the website is shit. So what's the purpose there? So like it's overrated and underrated at the same time. It depends on the context of the campaign or whatever the business goals are, because marketing is business, honestly. And I always say that to my clients. I'm like, where do you want to be in 5 years? Like, we're not going to market you if you want to lose half your business in 5 years because you're overwhelmed and you don't want to grow. But if we want to grow together and you have like big ambitions and you want to go to LA and to everywhere in the US, well, there's a marketing strategy that has to come with your business plan. And that marketing strategy is going to be key to getting people to know you. And if you want to grow, people have to know you. So that's all I have to say about that. So underrated, overrated. I mean, every answer is good. It depends on the context of the project. And that's where a good strategy is going to have the impact and the results after that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, you might have converted me a bit to the old school, because yeah, you're right. I liked it. You hit me on the head.
Oh, and you can go, and I mean, I was talking about going on the streets with a sign and yelling at people, but this is like the basic of marketing. This is like medieval or whatever. This is like the OGs. It's like that's how it started. I mean, okay, like let's bring it back to basic. I mean, marketing is about getting people's attention.
Yeah. Good point.
That's the end of the sentence. I mean, how can you get people's attention? So if everybody's got their phone in their face, and that Gary Vee said that a few times, it's like, why do we put billboards out when half of the drivers have their phone in their hand? Like, I mean, Gary is such a goat about like these type of quotes, but like it makes sense. But like, if he's got his phone and you're cookieing him, and then he sees the sign as well, that's good. Because he's like, it's like a full circle, and then he sees the ad on TV, and that's super good. So it's all right. But like if you're not online, for me, it's the basics. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Awesome. So before we wrap this up, we're already heading to an hour, but I'd like to know, for not even necessarily specific to your field, but just in the past few years, whether it be a audiobook, book, a podcast, but what was the most valuable piece of information that you've consumed? Again, whether it's a book or a podcast, something that you can share with our audience so they can kind of broaden their knowledge or get outside their own zone of the usual material they consume.
I'll summarize a book that I read that is still beside my bed because it's had a really big impact. I don't read it that much anymore, but just looking at it, I feel something that helps me, and it's a basic. And like honestly, like I would say to people, like, don't read that book because it's hard to read. It's hard to read. It's kind of old English. It's just the basic Think and Grow Rich. It's
Napoleon Hill.
Oh yeah, it's an old school book, but like the let me summarize that for everybody. But like, just believe in what you do and go do it, and things will happen. So
it's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. Don't read the book. Just fucking believe in what you do, see it, and then go do it and put efforts, and then everything will be hard. I mean, people try to find the magic potion and the magic book that's gonna bring their business to 10 million, 100 millions and stuff. I mean, we're small. I'm trying my best, and I mean, good days, bad days. Sometimes the numbers are shit. I feel good. Sometimes the numbers are good, then I feel like shit. I mean, so my key takeaway there is like, there's no shortcut, and honestly, if you can be at peace with yourself and with whatever happens outside of you, that's the key. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned in the past, I would say 10 years, when I started working more on personal development, started meditating and stuff. But like, everybody's got their own process, and people like meditating. Some other people do yoga, and some people just walk and whatever you do. But like, my honestly, if you can just be good at not being reactive to the outside world as much, and just be like, oh, things happen, and this is happening, and now I see that, and you see things rather than react to things. And that's one thing with meditation I really like, is like learning to observe rather than react to things. And observing can be your own emotions and your own way of being. Sometimes I was in the lineup at the subway the other day, and the guy in front of me was a perfect asshole, and I was like, I hate that guy. But then I got myself back, and I was like, why am I hating that guy? I don't care about that guy. Like, what the fuck? Why do I feel like that looking at this guy in front of me at the subway? Like, just get your sandwich. And then I started thinking about like my own projects and my things. And I was like, life is good, and I don't need to hate that guy in front of me. He's probably having a bad day, and I've had bad days too, and that's life. So rather than being really reactive, I try to act and have a purpose and really observe things as they are, rather than be influenced by them. I try to chill. So yeah, big takeaway from me. So Think and Grow Rich, don't read it. Just go out there, do it. See, have a vision, and then breathe. Breathing is so underrated.
It is. It really is. And Raph, real quick for the people listening, where can they follow you? Where can they find you? We'll put it in the notes, but just what's the best platform for them to follow you on?
You can find me at Impossible Raf, RAF, on pretty much every platform. Our business is Betula, so you can find us betula.agence, agency in French. You can find us on all platforms as well. I'm a big networker. If you guys want to go have a coffee, talk about business, marketing, music, whatever, just anything, I'm super open, and I like to chat with people. My job is to talk to people and have fun. I'm the guy behind the business development in the business. So I love meeting new people. So yeah, come say hi and let's have a chat. Let's talk about great things.
Yes, sir. It was a real honor to have you on the podcast, Raph. And Zach, any final words?
Well, just thank you, Raph. First of all, appreciate the generosity that you have with the knowledge in your industry. I learned a ton. I'm sure anybody who listens is going to learn a ton. Appreciate your passion too for what you do. I mean, we went all over the place today, from the early beginnings, the seasons to where you are right now. And it's exciting to see where you're heading. And hopefully, I know we'll be keeping in touch, and who knows, maybe we do one of these in the future, see where how things have happened and how it's progressed. But again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Everybody at home, if you appreciate these, you have a recommendation for a business owner, you are a business owner yourself, and you want a platform to tell your story, tell everybody what you're about, let us know your comments, like, share. And on that, I wish you a great night. And Raph, thanks you again, sir.
Thanks to you guys. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, Raph. Cheers.
Have a good day. Cheers.